If you want to get more views on the next Instagram reel that you post, you need to make sure that you're turning on the 7 settings that I'm going to share with you in this video, because if you don't turn on these settings, Instagram might be showing your content to the wrong audience, which is destroying the views that you're getting, or they might actually be marking your content as spam. That's why you're not getting the views that you want. But first, you need you to smash that subscribe button. If you want to go click on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, I literally upload a video every single day about how to grow on these platforms. In addition to that, I quit my job working for Gary Vee to literally help you grow on Instagram, so please show me some support. And by the way, if you go to the pinned comment below, you can get into my free Instagram growth course. It's going to tell you exactly how the algorithm works, what time you should post, and what hashtags you should use, all for free. Now, the first setting that you need to make sure that you turn on is high quality uploads, because if you're not going into your advanced settings and making sure that Instagram is uploading your content at the highest quality that it can, Instagram might actually be marking your content as spam, because at the end of the day, Instagram doesn't want to show content to people that they don't qualify as high quality, but you actually have to go in and select this. And if you haven't done this before, then Instagram could be uploading your content in the wrong quality. But that's not the only thing that you need to check when you're there. You also need to make sure that Instagram is automatically adding captions to your content, because here's the deal. Less than 50% of people on Instagram are actually watching content with the sound on. I mean, think about it. Most of the time that you scroll on Instagram, you might be out in public, you might be sitting next to your partner that's asleep in their bed, or maybe you're in class, and guess what? You can't have the sound on, so most people actually don't scroll Instagram with the sound on, which is exactly why you need those automatic captions. In addition to that, these automatic captions are going to allow Instagram to transcribe what you're actually saying within the content. So if you mess up your description, or you mess up your hashtags, or you mess up your topics, it doesn't actually matter, because Instagram's able to see what the voiceover within your content is saying, or what you're saying within your content, and then as a result, they're able to classify your content and show it to the right audience. For example, if you put no description, no hashtags, no topics on your content, but Instagram could see that you're talking about how to get six-pack abs, well, guess what? It's going to know exactly what type of people it should show your content to, and boom, it's going to increase the amount of views that you get. Now, those 2 settings are absolutely nothing compared to the 5 others that we're going to go through. And remember, the last setting that I share with you is by far the most important. In fact, it's one of the biggest hacks right now on Instagram that can skyrocket the amount of reach that you get, and it doesn't have to only be done with you. You could do it with your friends, or you could do it with other people in your niche, and it's going to help everybody grow. But first, that next feature is that you need to also be posting your content to Facebook. Now, I'm not saying you should post on Instagram and then go over to Facebook and post it. You need to make sure that Instagram is showing your content to both platforms, because at the end of the day, there's not that many people creating content over on Facebook, but guess what? There are billions of people that are logged into Facebook, that scroll Facebook. You might not be one of those people, but there are so many people that do that. So if you show your content both to Instagram and to people on Facebook, it can 2 to 3x the amount of views that you get. In addition to that, while they're over on Facebook, if they click on your video, guess what ends up happening? It brings them over to Instagram so that they can come follow your page on Instagram. A lot of creators don't click this box, and they don't realize that they're missing out on so many different views. If you're not doing this, I strongly suggest that you begin doing it, because it can only amplify your reach and it can't actually hurt you. Because if people on Facebook don't like your content, well, guess what? Instagram isn't going to penalize you over on Instagram. Now, the next topic that we need to talk about is going to be those topics that you're using, because at the end of the day, if you are not choosing the right topics on Instagram, or you're choosing irrelevant topics, Instagram could actually be showing your content to the wrong audience, and choosing these should be incredibly simple. You need to go through and choose up to 3 topics that are actually relevant to whatever the content is that you just created. If you don't choose any, that's totally fine also, but remember, you should only be choosing them if they're relevant. So if there are relevant topics that you can choose them. If there aren't, don't choose irrelevant ones for the sake of doing it. You want to make sure that this is one of those things that you just use a little bit of common sense for. If they're there and available, go ahead and use them. If they're not, I would completely ignore them, because it's not actually going to destroy the reach that you get, which brings me to the next 2 settings you need to make sure that you're doing. The first one are going to be trending effects. You need to understand something. Different effects on Instagram can actually increase the odds that people watch your content. I'm not telling you to turn your content blue, or turn it yellow, or turn it black and white, but maybe just adding the 4K effect can actually help Instagram classify your content as something that's trending. Because here's how it works. When people scroll on Instagram, and Instagram sees that they're sharing content, or they're liking content, or they're commenting on content, and they see an effect on there, then they show them more content that has that effect on there. So if you are able to identify which effects are going the most viral within your niche, you can add them into your content and increase your views. And you can do the same exact thing when it comes to trending sounds. In fact, you can stack a trending sound and a trending effect effect to amplify the amount of reach that you're getting. The same way that effects work are exactly how sounds work. So you need to make sure that you're going through and identifying which ones work for your specific niche. And in order to figure this out, if you click into a sound, you're gonna see all the videos that show under it. And guess what? If these are in the same format as the post you're creating, or they're for your niche, then it would be a really good cue for you to actually use that sound within your content. If not, I would strongly suggest that you don't use the sound, because all it could do is hurt you at that point, because again, you're going to be using an irrelevant sound. Now, there are two other settings that you need to make sure that you're doing, but first, I did want to make sure that you understood the best description that you could possibly write on Instagram and how to actually create a good bio. So the first thing we need to talk about is what your profile actually looks like. There are 3 mistakes that I want you to correct. First and foremost, you need to have keywords within your profile. You don't just want to have a bunch of words or all your accomplishments. You want there to be specific keywords that people are going to search for. So when somebody actually searches for your niche, your profile gets pulled up, because this happens thousands or even tens of thousands of times a day. For example, if you're an expert on AI, put that in there, and then people are going to search for AI, and boom, your profile is going to come up. This is going to help you get more traffic, and ideally people that actually have intention behind consuming your content. The second thing you need to make sure that you're doing is adding keywords into your username, if you're able to do this. I wouldn't go crazy over this, but it's a really good move if you can mix that in there. And the third thing you want to make sure that you're doing is you want to make sure that your profile image is something bright. It shouldn't be something dull. It shouldn't be something that you can't see. It shouldn't be black. It shouldn't be all white. Instead, it needs to be you or your logo or whatever, and it needs to be bright. It needs to stand out, and it needs to be memorable. Now, when it comes to the descriptions that you're writing on your YouTube content, after I share with you this, I'm going to share with you the number 1 setting that you need to change. The descriptions should be 125 to 150 words. The first sentence should be a really good hook. There should be good spacing in there so that it's easier to read. And the last sentence needs to be a call to action. And you shouldn't be telling people to like the post, save the post, comment on the post, share the post. It should only be a single thing, because the more things that you ask somebody to do, well, guess what? They end up doing none of them. So you want to just ask them to do one simple thing, and this increases the odds that they actually do it. And the only 3 things that you should be asking somebody to do should be share, or comment, or follow you. And remember, you never want to use all 3 of those. You want to only use one of them, because it increases the odds that they actually do it. Now, when it comes to the last setting that you need to make sure that you're doing, it's going to be collaboration posts. Essentially, you need to be inviting people to post together with you on Instagram. This is the easiest way to grow on Instagram right now, and there are a few different methods that you can use here. 1, you do collaboration posts with your friends. 2, you could do collaboration posts with your competitors or other people in your niche. Or 3, a lot of creators are seeing a lot of success having a main account and a backup account, doing collaboration posts between the 2, and this skyrockets the amount of reach that you get, because it makes Instagram push your content to people that aren't following either account, and this helps both of you get more views and get more followers. Now, at this point, I know that you're serious about growing on Instagram, and ultimately you probably want to monetize your Instagram, and I personally want to help you do that. In fact, I want to guarantee that I can help you grow quicker on Instagram in the next 30 days, because I'm going to be looking at your account, telling you everything you need to do differently, and showing you a bunch of content that you should actually be creating. If that sounds interesting, you want to work together personally to skyrocket your reach on Instagram, well, please keep watching this video, because I've got a special offer for you.